AI, right, for the growth markets, that currently we serve, both of us are serving. So I'll go first, a little bit of introduction about me, and our company. I'm in IT industry for over 20 years, working into management side, including project and technical management, led projects in all the different aspect of IT industry. As an example, application development, infrastructure setup, cybersecurity, and whole sort of software development projects. After pandemic, I started an MSP, IT MSP, providing cybersecurity and managed IT services to small and medium businesses, because after the pandemic, we all have seen a surge in cybersecurity incidents, for small businesses and even, larger corporation. So what I during my market research with small businesses, I found out that these small businesses don't have enough protection to protect their business and their wealth against cybersecurity incidents. So that's a prime motivation for me to started this MSP, and also now I'm incorporating AI, providing AI services, building AI agents for these businesses, uh, to improve their business, and generate more revenue streams for them. So this is from my side, and I would like you to introduce about yourself, your company, and what you do.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, appreciate the intro. So, as far as a little bit of background on me, I started out in the more in the technology space. So, built my own video conferencing company and a lot of built all the infrastructure and the actual video conferencing platform as well. And so what that was is the goal of that was to connect video conferencing and revenue generation. And this was early 2015 2016 time, where the whole vision around it was to connect basically a way for people to make money while they sleep, right? That was like the whole internet marketing goal. So we
Yep.
had automated webinars, and then as people were learning about the automated webinar side of things, because you can buy products and services and advertising and sell tickets all through this platform, then they wanted to also have a hybrid solution where you can host live and automated webinars. So then we built the live webinar solution, and then we had an automated webinar solution. And then as we were doing sales calls, they're like, well, why aren't we meeting on your platform, which was Jet Webinar,
Yep.
and to have this conversation to talk about your video conferencing solution. We're like, okay, fine. So we spent a whole bunch of money to go build a live a meeting engine. So we had meetings, webinars, live webinars, and automated webinars. And so then we just kind of kept finding that there was so much technical debt that was coming on, because more people wanted more features, and they're like, well, if you have this one feature, then we'll buy it. And we kept adding and adding and adding, and it was a major rookie mistake, in hindsight of things. And what we found was that the people who are using our platform were really strong power users, and we had great clients. Some of them were Amazon and Toshiba, and some of them were more like small to medium sized businesses, some Inc. 5,000 companies and things like that. And what we found was that there was a whole layer that this was bringing onto different organizations, where they wanted more hands-on help to generate more leads and more sales and use this video
Mhm.
conferencing engine as an amplifier. So that's when we kind of launched the services side of the business, where we would help other companies on their technology infrastructure. We would come in as more of like a fractional chief marketing officer, chief revenue officer, and some of my other business partner at the time with Jet Webinar was very good on the technical side. So he kind of came in as a chief technical officer. So we kind of
Mhm.
had a good relationship there to help other clients. And then that moved into really 2020, 2021 in COVID time. all video conferencing platforms went from a nice to have to a
Yeah,
must have,
must
right?
have.
And that turned into something where if you can get on the phone with someone who is calling you to support them, you had a huge advantage because Zoom had they just went public, and the sales team had a 3-month waiting list to talk to a sales representative.
Yeah, I know that. Yeah.
It was crazy. It was totally
Crazy.
crazy. And so that was a good advantage that we can have more of like a hands-on enterprise approach to the market. And then there was all these other video conferencings were getting bought or sold or exiting. And one of our competitors actually, we had a conversation with them to eventually acquire them. And so we bought another platform called Business Hangouts. It had about 3 million users on the Google Market and the Google Marketplace at the time. And so we were able to roll up their acquisition channels, and then we then found out that their technical infrastructure needed a whole revamp. So then we took all the Jet webinar technology and put it into Business Hangout and became this big project that we didn't really know that we were signing on to. And then fast forward a couple of years, that what I realize is that I've helped other companies buy other companies. I've helped other companies sell. I've helped other companies exit. And what I really took a step back and looked at the last 10 years, and I really enjoyed the M&A process. So that's when I took the services side of what Jet Webinar had, and I realized it was devaluing the software revenue that Jet Webinar had. So I went to my business partner with Jet Webinar and said, listen, let me just buy the services side of the business. Let me move it over in here, and then I can help SaaS and AI companies have a stronger go-to-market strategy. I could help them increase their valuations. I could help them get acquired or be acquired or have a roll-up strategy, because that's kind of where I saw all of this is going, because this is post GPT being released and all these open AI, the open AI frameworks and all these things were coming out. So the ability to code was not really, it was becoming more of a commodity is in the direction that I saw this going. So that's where I said, it really makes sense just to help companies think more strategically and position themselves more strategically. And that's where I launched Agile Growth Labs, where we have an investment arm where we can buy and invest into companies, and then we can also add our go-to-market strategies to help increase their valuation and their distribution. So I was taking my marketing brain and my M&A brain, and I kind of had a baby with it, and that's what Agile Growth Labs is today.
Yeah, that's great. So basically, in simple terms, for people who are watching our podcast, that you are helping companies to find an investor, as in to sell that company, right? And you help them to integrate with the buying company, right? It's simple buying, selling, and merger and acquisition process for the companies.
Yeah, well, in a sense, right? Because they need to be investor ready, and in order to be investor ready, they need to have a strong go-to-market strategy. And if they are at 10 million in ARR plus, and they already have that product market fit, we can help them be acquired or be the acquisition, or be the person who's doing growth by acquisition, or
Yeah.
get acquired. So it's a little bit of both.
So is there any specific industry niche that you are working, or you help all type of businesses?
Yeah, so mainly SaaS and AI companies
Okay.
that are on the investment side. If they're doing 10 million in annual reoccurring revenue, they're a good investment target. If they're under that, then we just help them get to that point so
That
they
point.
can be a good investment target.
Yeah. So now let's talk about a little bit of AI,
Mhm.
right? You have an experience with AI,
Oh yeah.
and the industry that currently I'm serving and have an expertise into is into property and casualty insurance industry.
Okay.
So that's my niche right now. I serve many agencies in Massachusetts and Connecticut. Um, uh, and they are really way behind in AI, like small businesses, right? And the prime factor for that is one of them, they don't know how to use AI properly, right? The second thing is also training aspect is the big thing, and second thing is the investment is coming up with AI, right?
Yeah.
That they have to invest something into, and what they are seeing right now, that they don't have a return on investment. That's what they are saying,
Right.
right? So so for those businesses, like small businesses who are looking into uh, AI engines for their own to implement into their businesses, like what you say to them, like how they can leverage this AI boom or many AI engines available in the market,
Hmm.
um, for their business growth.
Yeah. So what I the same mistake that I see quite often is that everyone gets so excited about AI and then they start doing the same mistakes that they would fall to years ago, where they're like, well, I learned about funnels, now I need to go build a funnel or whatever the thing is. And AI is the same type of vehicle for that. They're see a big shiny a big shiny object, and
Yeah.
they're trying to run towards it and figure out how this thing applies to their business, right? And what I like to do is take a step back and say, you have something in your business that's working, that's generating leads, it's generating customers. You have maybe a strong a customer support system. So there's different tiers of what I like to look at, right? And if you have someone in that has been showing up to work for 10, 5, 10, 20 years or whatever it might be, and they're doing the same thing over and over again, and you can document that whole process, that is something that can be replaced with AI, right? And so there's another aspect to it where they have a system where they know if you're a cold caller, right? And you know for every 1,000 phone calls that you make that you're going to get 5 customers.
Yeah.
Then most of the time people are spending not talking to people, but they're calling them. So what I like to do is reverse engineer on what's the thing that's repeatable, what's the thing that's been working for the business, how do you document it, and then use that as the first step to go implement into the business. And so I like to look at things within the organization as on two scales of 1 to 10. What's the first scale is what's the least amount of effort to the most amount of effort, and then
Okay.
the second scale is what is the least amount of revenue, or what's the least amount the least expensive thing, or what's the most amount of revenue, or what's the most expensive thing. So what's the thing that is a 1 effort and a 10 revenue, and then you list those things out. So if it's a
Mm-hmm.
salesperson making 1,000 phone calls every 3 days, they should have an AI bot that calls people. The second someone picks up the phone, it should forward them to the salesperson, the human, so then they could talk to the human. If it's a customer support person, they are answering the same 500 questions. You should document all of those questions, and then it should filter to someone where you're training the AI agent to respond to those support questions, and then if it's beyond its capacity, then it can escalate to a customer support person or a salesperson, because a lot of times we'll find customer support is actually sales. So that those are kind of the things that I like to look at is don't try to fit AI into the business. Look at what is working in the business and then have AI adapt to your business.
Yeah. So when I have a funny example, so when I was talking to one of my prospective customers about implementing AI engine,
Hmm.
and that customer included a couple of other team members from their team, and
Hmm.
we were talking about building the processes, right, through using AI,
Right.
and how the repetitive works, can be automated. So one of the colleague, he mentioned that, you are taking away my job.
Yeah, yeah, right.
I said, I'm not taking away. I'm helping to optimize your job.
Yeah,
Like I'm helping you to increase your personal efficiency,
right.
instead of spending hours and hours, analyzing the spreadsheet.
Yeah.
So that's one of the major concern that the employees have in small and medium business industry segment,
Right. Right.
because it's all about how they perceive AI, because in media they always say that, right, AI will replace this many number of jobs, so they are sometime in, they have deep inside, they have a fear that their job will go away, but I tell them, no, it's not going away. It's helping you
Right.
to improve your efficiency. So that's,
Right. Right.
yeah. So Henry, besides this AI, right? So another aspect of a technology and when the business is how to protect against cybersecurity incidents, right? Because with the advent of AI and the improvements in AI, like every single day, the cybersecurity threats are also becoming
Right.
more and more prevalent, right, for the small and medium business industry, where they don't have adequate measures or trainings to stop this type of incidents. So, like, what is your take on that? Like, how we can leverage AI to help these businesses, to implement cybersecurity and other protective measures?
Yeah, I mean there's a new this has become very relevant where there's a new AI technology that people have been installing directly into their computers, and you can speak to it and it will complete tasks, it can move files around,
Yep.
and it's gone in and it has stolen people's Bitcoin. It has hijacked people's computers. It has taken their credit card information and buy products and services.
Mhm.
And what you need to do is just before you are looking into using any sort of AI and connecting it to whether it's your Google Workspace or your email, you need to be sure you're doing a serious level of research before you start randomly installing and doing things like that. Because
Yep.
back in the day, it's you have a virus and then it kind of your virus takes over your computer and then you gotta clean your virus. But now the repercussions are way higher, and so when whatever you're doing, you need to be sure that you have firewalls, you've got your different level of security for each thing that you're downloading. You need to have backups. No one uses hard drives to do backups on their
Yeah.
computer anymore. It's very important that you do that. And any financial information that you have, it's super important that you have that too, because now, even on my computer here, I just have my thumbprint to go if I want to
Logging in.
log into something or get access to my bank account or whatever, and it has my thumbprint. What it's to say that there's an AI solution that can copy my thumbprint and get into any of these other platforms, right?
Yeah.
And so I don't know, right? And so you've got to just be really careful on who you trust to do it. You need to just assume that people are always going after your information, your financial data, your customer data, your home address, you're getting access to your social security number, because these things are becoming way easier to get a hold of, and you just there's going to be a lot of precautions that you need to take and
Yep.
have backups and things like this to be sure you do that. And it's easier, I think, to hack into like a Microsoft program than an Apple, because I think they're a little bit more secure and isolated, but that doesn't
Yep.
isolate Apple users from all security issues. So
Mhm.
those are some of my inherent thoughts and concerns about it.
So especially these businesses, they are using a lot of third-party applications.
Right.
It's not their homegrown applications, right? So they use
Yeah.
career portals, and then the accounting portals, and some other applications like web-based applications, and
Right.
that's where their security gets compromised. Because,
Yeah.
like, even though they take all the measures to secure their businesses, but let's say what happens, the breach happens at a higher level, right, at
Yeah.
an application provider level, or a carrier portal level. So that's where they cannot do anything. It's all up to now after that it's managing the damage, uh,
Right. Right. Right.
right.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah.
There was
So
there's a there's an example I was talking to a financial services company, and they had some random server that they don't use anymore that hasn't been updated, and somehow someone got through that server and accessed all of this financial services files, and then they sent a like a hostage note saying, "Listen, you need
Yeah.
to send us X number of Bitcoin, and we'll release it." And you don't know who you're paying. It could, it could be a terrorist organization as
Yeah.
far as we're concerned, right? So it's just locking it down as much as possible, and then just watching all of your servers and your third party services and things like that. It's very, very important.
Yeah, so especially, that's what I recommend to all my customers, that, to keep their systems updated on a
Yeah.
day-to-day basis, because so many security updates and patches are released by service providers, right? Like Microsoft and Apple and other companies, to stay up to date. And the training is more important part of this exercise. So I also ask them, to go through a regular trainings for to prevent this type of incidents. So now, Henry, this is a great discussion going on. So now I have another question regarding compliance, right? So we discuss about AI, we discuss about cybersecurity. Now, most of my clients, they are into insurance sectors, right? Some of them are into financial services like CPA firms, and a few of them are dental practices. So now, let's say if they implement AI solution into their business, so what are the compliance measures they should take, or are there any specific compliance that they need to meet? You know better than me, because you are into AI world.
Yeah, I mean, there's different. So when you're dealing, whether it's a financial services or a CPA, I mean, there's state and federal regulations that you have to
Yeah.
be hitting, because if you get audited, they're looking at that, right? And so there's a lot of protocols that you need to have, whether it's having fail safes and how you're storing the information and where you're storing it and what you're connecting to. So obviously all these things are dependent on a state by state basis. And I know anything financial is I mean, I'm in Illinois, right? And so
Yeah.
they they are heavily auditing financial services in Illinois right now. And if you're not complying, I mean, you're going to have to, they're going to keep auditing you until you fix the problem, right?
Yes.
Or
Yes.
you have to stop your entire business operation
Until you fix the issue.
until you
Yeah.
fix it, which is very expensive. That could be very expensive,
Yeah.
because everyone's like, yeah, it's not going to happen to me. And then it happens to you, and then you don't know what to do, right? And so, so as far as that, it's very important on a federal level, on a state level, to really understand how do you pass an audit with flying colors for multiple organizations and multiple entities, so you don't have any of these problems, because they will not leave your office until you figure it out.
Yeah.
So I can't speak to what it's going to look like on a national level, or, I know you're in Boston and I'm in Illinois, and it's going to be a little bit different if you're in Arkansas
Yeah.
or New York or whatever it might be. But I know the more this stuff is kind of cracking down, and more money that's going into, Bitcoins and stable coins, and all these transactions have to kind of be monitored. There's just going to be a lot of different protocols that you just have to do your research on, because frankly, I'm not going to be the the cybersecurity auditor to tell you what you need, but do your research is what I would tell you.
Yeah. So that's what, I recommend to all of my customers, to make sure that, they are aware of latest compliance regulations related to business, especially AI, right? Because cybersecurity, I'm implementing it, so I know it and how to take care
Yeah.
of it. But if they are implementing AI solution or AI engines, they need to be aware of what compliance they need to be made,
Yeah.
because right, there are so many companies who provide AI agents specific to in that industry, right? So
Right.
industry specific AI agents, and they train those agents, and what these businesses are doing, they are purchasing that agent from XYZ company and directly implementing into their system, uh, without doing due diligence, right? Because hey, this is a famous company, or we know them, so hopefully they are doing everything same. But it's not like that, right? Many times, there are some gaps that needs to be filled out, right?
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. I mean, we get letters all the time from large organizations that there was a data breach. Well, it could be our bank account. Me and I got one. You know, I have a couple daughters, and I got something in the mail telling us that there's been a data breach and they've been locked out of their system. So now they have access to both of my daughters' medical records, our
Yeah,
medical records, our personal information, our home address. So now that's out in the ether on the dark web somewhere. And there's frankly nothing I could do about it. And I'm sure there's a lawsuit coming their way for it because it's a huge organization. They weren't doing everything they could to protect our data. And this is just going to get uglier and uglier and uglier for all verticals, all industries, whether you're a CPA or you're in cybersecurity or you're financial. And there are tools out there now that are AI solutions that will actually do an audit of your cybersecurity to highlight where you're exposed.
yeah,
And it can do an audit on everyone's computers within your organization if you're on the same network. And so those are some things that I would look at to use AI for your advantage in the beginning.
yeah. Well, that's great. This is very good point from your side. So now, Henry, one last thing, uh, like, what do you suggest to businesses? What's your suggestion? Like, if you want to say in 2, 3 sentences, about AI, using AI engines, AI models, even like, for technology development companies, not just the small and medium businesses, but other technology organizations as well.
In what sense? For security or just in general for the
Ju-
business or
just for in general business, including AI and cybersecurity, if they want to use AI,
if they want to use AI for cybersecurity?
cybersecurity, and build their business processes using AI.
Yeah. So the first thing I'll start on the simple one that I have more expertise on, which is just for standardized processes, is that again, if you have something that you know is working and repeatable for the business, document it as well as you can, write step by step down. And one of the things that you can even do is record a video of you going through the process,
Yeah.
talk it through. You can transcribe that entire video. You can plug it into a system like ChatGPT, and you can tell it, I'm documenting this process to complete X, Y, and Z. You take my transcript and create a perfect document for all new hires or for me to train an AI model. It will give you that perfect prompt. And then from there, you can use that and say, now that you understand what I'm trying to do, I want to use this to I want to use this model and train an agent, or I want to build a software, or I want to do X, Y, or Z to automate or streamline the system. Give me some recommendations. So now it understands exactly what you're trying to accomplish, all the details required to do it, and now you can brainstorm with AI to figure out what is the best way for you to complete that. So use it as an assistant or a brainstormer to help you really think through all the different possibilities for that. Now, on the cybersecurity side, I would almost do the same thing. I would say, in what people I think get wrong a lot is when they're talking to a GPT or a Gemini or Perplexity or Manus, which was actually just acquired by Meta, is they just create these like one line questions and they use it to write their emails. But you can go way more in depth. Sometimes I've had 40-minute conversations where I pull up my phone on GPT app, I talk for 40 minutes, and it has all of my information. I transcribe everything I said, and then it uses all of that information for us to have an intelligent conversation. So you should do that for cybersecurity, for your business process, and don't be shy on sharing more information with these platforms that you know are secure, like a GPT or a Manus or Perplexity, because those are more secure than others, right? Because they're
Yeah.
heavily funded and things like that. So that would be the big thing is just try to communicate with platforms like that as much as possible and think of it as another person on your team.
Yeah. No, thank you so much. Yeah, thank you, Henry. This was a great conversation. I appreciate your time
Totally.
to join the podcast. I really enjoyed it, and definitely, in near future, we'll reconnect again
Absolutely.
to discuss about other topics. All right.
Absolutely. Thank you so
Thank you
much.
so much, and have a nice day. Yeah.
You too.
Take care. Bye.